I found inside a house above the front door in countryside, roughly 20.5 inches long. Metal, doorknob-like object on end is attached via rivet. Metal rod with bend in it, with 2 metal loops, hanger hook, and a doorknob-like object on the end. Seems to be a different metal given lack of rust. I found above front door in what used to be a grandparent's property. Age unknown. No writing visible on object. It is hollow. Any ideas? This is a harness hames for a horse. This belonged to my great-great-grandmother, who was in service. My mother found it 3 decades ago and assembled it herself, as all the pieces were scattered in the home. Metal, somewhat detachable, found in 3 separate parts. There are 2 tiny holes, not sure what this could be for, definitely over a century old. Any ideas what this thing is? This is a holy water sprinkler, or depending on the culture, a perfume, rose water sprinkler. I found in the well I uncovered in my English garden, house circa 1900. Metal, possibly cast iron, about 70 centimeters long, with decorative hooks. I hadn't considered a bracket because there doesn't appear to be any way to fix it to a wall, apart from that small straight but sticking out that could maybe be fixed inside a wall. Anyone know what this is? This is a swing arm for holding pots over a fire, sometimes called a fireplace crane. It would be held by 2 loops built into the side of the fireplace and can swivel over and away. Somewhat heavy metal thing found in a paper bag with writing in the ceiling of my basement. Circular disc and knob on backside rotate. It's been so long I can't remember if I found it near an unused mercury thermostat in its original box or if this thing was on its own separate. I've used Google Lens and no luck. It seems to be a part to something else. Not sure what. The slits in the disc can rotate to be an open or closed based on alignment with the disc behind it. The metal knob on the backside seems to have a spring that races the front-facing disc up. What is this? This is lower assembly zone valve. The part number indicates it's a zone valve. Looks like the inner portion that could be used to refurbish an existing valve body. This is a kind of needle that I found at work. We make clothes, but nobody knows what it is. It's made of metal, and one of the ends has an eye for thread to go through, just like a normal needle. It's not big, about the length of a finger, maybe a bit longer, about 10 to 12 centimeters. It is made of metal, and one of the ends has an eye for thread to go through, like a normal needle. The other end is not pointy like a normal needle. It is metallic gray in color. It doesn't smell of anything. Any ideas what this might be used for? It's a jute or twine sewing needle. The bend makes it so much easier. The wide point gives more space for the thread to pass through the hole made by the needle. What is this? Solid metal. Roughly 5 feet tall and 4 feet wide and 4 feet deep. Seems like a hinged door on front, in the middle of the woods. Unfortunately, I can't find any markings. Seems like rust took over enough to where any markings or plates are gone. This is small, portable-ish ammunition explosives locker. Note the grounding cable on the door and ventilation on the side. This is used in various industries such as the military, demolitions to store ammunition, smaller quantities or low-power explosives, occasionally maybe other hazardous materials. I found this buried about 3 inches under some shallow dirt in my yard. Nothing else was around it. Key is for scale. It's some sort of metal and is extremely heavy. Any guesses? House was built in the 40s, so I assume some part of the foundation or construction they left over. It was about 12 feet away from my actual house. Size 7 5/8 inches long by 5 5/8 inches wide by 2 inches tall. Weighs probably 20 pounds or more. Extremely dense. Any idea what this is made for? It must be lead. No clue why I have a random lead bar in my yard. I found in the middle of the street in front of my house, 2 feet long, metal, 2-inch hook at one end, 2 metal cylinders, possibly handles, in the middle and other end. What is this thing? It's named Handy Hook Wholesale, Tandem Axle Pin Puller. I found on the pavement outside entrance to flats in Brighton, UK. Lighter for scale. The light blinks on and off, sometimes pauses, then continues blinking. Seems like a prison-style invention, but I have no idea what it is. It's a battery with tape, wires, and bulb added. But why? This is the question that is really intriguing me. It looks like a Heath Robinson-style thing that you'd make in prison. It has random pauses between the bulb flashing on and off and has been doing it for the last 15 minutes. Any idea what this is made for? This is squash vape that has lost its outer casing. I found it while cleaning out the warehouse. Heavy metal precision instrument. The topmost part spins around the center. The cylindrical handles move the attached desks. Seems like some kind of precision positioning aid. It is very heavy. Each cylinder moves the part it is attached to in very fine increments marked on the cylinder. What is this? This is lathe tool holder cross table. My father had a lathe back in the 80s, 90s, so it will most likely be from some Czechoslovak manufacturer. Found it today in a wheat field close to Kutná Hora in Czech Republic. A small, approximately 6 centimeters tall glass bottle with a piece of rubber surrounded by a metal ring where the cap would normally be with some symbols at the bottom. A 6 above a wide bar, an S left to the bar and an A to the right of the bar, a star and 80 liters at the bottom of the bar. The piece of rubber and metal ring cannot be removed, and as such I believe that it was supposed to be pierced by a syringe and that the bottle was a single-use storage for medical samples. And the star appears to be a communist star. What is this thing? It's an old medicine vial. Without the label, it's impossible to tell what kind of medicine it held without actually opening it up and testing it. But you're right that the stopper at the top was meant to be pierced with a syringe in order for the medicine to be withdrawn. We still use similar vials today. The marks on the bottom are manufacturer's marks. The 6/A/A refer to mold or customer number, or possibly the type of glass used. As for the 80s, it's hard to tell from the pictures. It could either be an 80 with a thermometer beside it, in which case it's a temperature guide for the glass itself, or it's an indicator of volume using a unit I'm not familiar with. This looks like an about 80 milliliter vial.